Hello everybody and welcome once again to Let's Play Skyrim. Last time when we left off we had just arrived at the Soul Cairn and started the quest Beyond Death to locate Valerica. We wound up exercising the Soul Trap option, so I don't know if the effect is showing or not. I don't have any active effects that are negative, so apparently not, but you're supposed to be playing with the Weakened Soul effect. What it does, and if you come in here at level 252 with these stats, it really won't matter. But what it does is it reduces each of your three primary attributes by 45, health, stamina, and magicka. That's easy to deal with. The bigger problem is that it reduces the reduction rate of each by 80% until you find the Soul Essence gem and solve the problem. I didn't realize that the game would break if I got cured of my vampirism. I thought that I'd simply be able to do the soul trap option instead. So I do apologize for having to console my way through that, but that's just how this game is sometimes, with or without mods. The Soul Cairn itself is added by the Dawnguard expansion, and it is huge. It's not terribly productive to think of it the way you would a dungeon, just because it's so big. It's more like being in a big old wilderness area. You have to approach exploring it with that mindset. With that said, it's got its own side quests, its own miscellaneous objectives, all sorts of shit. We're going to be in here a while. We're going to try to do everything. It's possible I'll miss a few areas. It just is what it is. But I'm going to do my best to thoroughly explore everything. So first, check out the portal back to Castle Volkihar. That's kind of cool.
Let's keep moving. I feel like we're being watched.
Do you know anything about this place?
Just what my mother told me. I've also studied a little bit on my own, but there's not much. When something is trapped in a soul gem, and then the energy is used for powering an enchantment, the remnants are sent here.
Any soul gem?
Well, I think it's specifically the black ones. I don't know if the Soul Cairn takes just any leftovers.
Does anything live here?
Look at this place. Do you think anything would want to live here? The only things that can survive here are the Ideal Masters, the undead, and the souls themselves. Well, if you want to call that living.
Do you think we'll meet the Ideal Masters?
I don't think anyone's ever met the Ideal Masters. I'm not even sure anyone knows what they look like. They could be underground, flying above us. They might be the ground. I have no idea.
Why are they collecting these souls?
Lots of theories. Some say they feed on them like I feed on blood. Others think they use them as payment to an even higher power. Almost like a currency. A very strange currency. Whatever they're doing with them, they've been harvesting for millennia. No telling how many souls are trapped here.
Why would a necromancer want to deal with them?
Look around you. There are some extremely powerful undead here. Even a necromancer as seasoned as my mother would be willing to spend years trying to gain access to them.
Summon them, you mean?
Exactly. It's a lost art. Most necromancers just raise up whatever bodies are nearby. A simple trick, really. Child's play. But bringing something from the Soul Cairn gives you something much more powerful.
How do the necromancers communicate with them?
That's usually the trick. It's possible to do it through a simple portal. But to finalize it, you have to travel here yourself. And most of them never come back.
And she's right, by the way. We'll be able to pick up some exceedingly powerful summon spells that are Dawnguard exclusives while we're here. Are you sure Valerica has the Elder Scroll?
No. There's no way she would have left it in Tamriel. She wanted to get it as far away from my father as possible. I can't imagine a better place.
And if she doesn't?
Then we find out where she hid it. If she's still alive. Well, as alive as she was before. Or as now. Or... you know what I mean.
Why not hide it in the Soul Cairn and then return?
Probably to avoid whatever my father would do to her if he could get his hands on her. Or maybe her plan was to come back, but she was stuck here. We won't know until we find her.
Alrighty. So let's head on down the stairs. So you can actually harvest something that's, I'll call it plant-like here inside the Soul Cairn. Soul husks. And because I have the gardener perk, I get 2 every time I harvest one. You do want to collect these. They're actually listed as food items. They interrupt the soul drain effect in the Soul Cairn, and they also resist 10% of magic for 10 seconds. As valuable as an effect as that is, don't eat them. You can use them as currency for a merchant we'll meet. Every 25 can get you a pretty powerful item, including what I'm going to spend all of mine on, spell tomes. But we'll talk more about that when I find the guy. Here's a soul.
Stay away from the Oblivion Gate, I told them. Did they listen? Of course not.
The ability to encounter souls here generates lots of callbacks to earlier Elder Scrolls games, which I find fun.
Leave me be.
Oh, he's not happy. So it works well enough just to stick pretty close to the path. If you don't, you'll get lost in a hurry. But let's look at this Soul Fisher and talk about what it does. You have no empty soul gems to fill. Any empty soul gems you have in your inventory can be filled by harvesting a Soul Fisher, which can obviously turn out to be pretty cool.
I no longer hunger, grow weary, or feel anything but loneliness. Leave me be.
We head over here. These geysers don't do anything that I'm aware of except look cool, but there do tend to be large concentrations of soul husks around them. So let's grab those. And now we'll kind of circle back to the path and we'll get to this first building here on the right. I'm going to start sneaking because I think it's not going to be... I don't see any husks over there, so we're good. I don't think it's going to be too long before we start encountering undead, and Serrano's not kidding. They probably won't be a threat to us with our stats, but they are exceedingly powerful. Way stronger than anything you'll find in Tamriel, as advertised.
They're watching us. Always watching.
Alright. Now let's check the exterior of this building first. To me, that does include running over here just to nip these soul husks I can see. I actually hear something. Ah, yes. Batter up. These are bone men. They're, appearance-wise, they're pretty obviously just reskins of skeletons. But what you should also be able to see is that they are quite a bit stronger. So when you search the soul embers, here's what you find. You find their weapon. You'll almost always find a soul gem. I don't know if you always get a salt pile or not. I can't remember that off the top of my head, but that is what it is. What am I not wearing? Something got removed. I somehow switched to my destruction alteration gear instead of my combat gear. There we go. Much better. But the good news is... Ooh, a black one. If you care about this sort of thing anyway. The good news is there is a finite, although large, number of undead in the cairn. You can kill everything here, and unless you leave long enough for the cell to reset, it'll stay dead.
What day is it? What year? What era, even? Is there no end to this nightmare?
Alright, so we got that. Let's circle the building. Seeing nothing, let's go up the stairs. Note the bars here. What to do is actually pretty straightforward. You just got to shoot these 2 glowing orbs. I think magic works too, but I'll just shoot them since I got my... Oh, a hunting bow and iron arrows. Go figure. I guess maybe that's there as a clue telling us to shoot the orbs. I don't know. But while we're in here, note the soul gems. They're everywhere. Steel Dagger of Arcing. And here's something to take off the notes list. Jubb's Opus, page 8. So let me take it off the list. These pages should be fairly obvious. Are going to factor into a side quest that we're going to start pretty soon. The name Jubb will be familiar to those who play Morrowind. Jubb was on the Imperial prison ship during Morrowind's character creation. He's the one who wakes you up from your nightmare and who you tell your name to. And he was referenced in Oblivion as having become Saint Jubb, who drove the Cliff Racer menace from Vardenfell. So we've just found a note from Saint Jubb's opus. Remember, in the end, 76 Cliff Racers were slaughtered. I was knee-deep in their corpses and my body on the verge of collapse, but I had survived. I smiled to the heavens and all went black. When I awoke, all I felt was my back on a cold stone floor. Every muscle in my body was on fire and my vision was blurred. Slowly I tried to climb to my feet. It took several agonizing. That, of course, is both an in-universe reality of his opus and also an out-of-universe in-joke to anybody who suffered through the abysmal spawn rates of Cliff Racers while playing Morrowind, which Bethesda has retroactively acknowledged was so horrific it was a bug, even though it worked as programmed. Alright, so we got a chest with a flawless emerald and a filled lesser soul gem. Neither of which I need, but pretty cool stuff, if nothing else. Just keep your eyes peeled for soul husks. They're really the only thing I want to wander off the path for at the moment. I spotted a couple more over here. And we find a split in the path, another few souls, and a tower on the right. Let's eyeball to the left. Don't see any husks. Let's chat with the souls.
Only those who have suffered long can find the light within the shadows.
Ah, the Optimist. Knew we'd find one eventually.
You must help me find my Arvak. He doesn't deserve to be in a place like this.
Calm down. Who's Arvak?
Arvak, my horse. We came to this horrible place together. We were attacked by monsters, so I told him to run. Please, he's such a loyal creature, and he's been running for so long. You have to save him. A place like this will change you.
How can I help him?
Arvak! Where are you? Arvak, please come back! Come back!
Find Arvak's skull in the Soul Cairn. There's our first miscellaneous quest. Always fun. Let's check out this tower. Actually, let's get there the way we were intended to. There's a path split way back here. As is often my wont, I'm gonna circle around, check the outside for any goodies. By goodies, I will usually mean visible soul husks. Unless there's something else. We got soul husks over here. Good, good, good. That freaky totem probably looks like it should do something, but I don't think it does. Oh, just kidding. Spawns enemies. What do you know? Does do something. You can also see there's some pretty variant strength on the bone men. You saw that one that dropped in one shot. Most of the others are taking 3 or 4, which doesn't seem like that big a deal until you remind yourself that I'm doing 900 damage a shot. So, looks like we can't search him. I don't really care. Oh, yeah, there's black soul gem sitting here too. I guess that's the point of value, so to speak. Oh, hello. What do we have here? There was a hostel here, and I intend to find it, damn it. I've let myself get distracted. Let myself do a lot of wandering. It's pretty close to exactly what I didn't want to do, because it's so damn easy to get lost, but... oh well. I see some soul husks, so let's grab those. Let's go back to that big building we were just eyeballing and see if we can't... shit, what is the word I'm even looking for? Find whatever that enemy was. That was showing up on our radar. I think it was over here. Yeah, there it is. It's like a bone man up on the roof of whatever this thing is. Let's see about getting up there. Wouldn't put it past it to just have an enemy there and not even give us a way up to deal with it. In fact, it looks like that is... whoa! Look at that shit. That's actually a reskin of an effect from late in the main quest that we haven't seen yet, but it's still somewhat unnerving. Which is, admittedly putting it a bit mildly, but still the truth. Serana, really? Like, I get walking around and everything, but is that really where you had to stop? That just seems silly. Alright, good, we got him. And with the stairway inside, I can see that I haven't actually wandered as far as I thought, which is good. So, now, let's get all the way back to that tower I was trying to explore before I got distracted by soul husks and bone man archers. In fact, I'm even gonna drop a quick save here. I've already done a fair bit. I would prefer not to repeat.
Where'd you come from?
Got a bone man here. What's up, Brohim? Oh, you're so fucking wrecked, dog. How sad for you. Yeah. Uh-huh, I know. What the fuck? I really don't recall asking for anything remotely like that. Get your fucking bow equipped again. Alright, here's Jub's Opus page 6. I'll take that off the book list. And then we'll give it a read. Quickly stifled by the sound of over 100 wings, rising from the Foyata was an entire colony of cliff racers, and they were out for blood. The blasted thing had led me right to their nest and sacrificed itself with the intent of feeding me to its brood. It was a trap. The damned things had become much too clever. Knowing this was likely the end, I jumped down from the silt strider and hit the back of its leg with the... And that's the end of that page. Fine and dandy, I suppose. Have I been actually picking those up? Yes, good. Is Valerica's journal still a quest item? No. Good. Search the chest, grab the coins. Let me make sure I'm not carrying anything else I don't need to be. We do need to be carrying soul husks, trust me. Alright, good. That's that little tower. Let's keep going. And here's where we met Arvak's master. So you'll note this big wall. Even though it's kind of structured to look this way, the wall isn't really cutting the Soul Cairn in half. It's more, I would say almost the side we're in has about a quarter of the Soul Cairn, maybe. The space on the other side of this wall is way, way bigger than the side that we're exploring right now. It's kind of an FYI, so you get an idea of the size of this place. But before we go through the gap, let's head over here. Listen to the creepy whispering of the souls. And note the building kind of built into the wall right here. Let's take a look at all sides of it. So you can, I'll wander over here too, just so you can see where the actual boundary of the explorable area is. You wander far enough, you'll see this purple energy wall type deal. That is the actual edge. Let's head over into this little cluster of buildings built into the wall. Nothing out there, nothing here, so let's head this way. We got a chest here. You have to be careful because a lot of these chests will trigger bone men or other undead. They haven't fought anything tougher than a bone man yet, but it'll happen.
Where'd you come from?
Oh, he uncanny dodged.
That'll teach you.
Not cool, game.
Who's there?
Serana, don't get in front of me. It's just not a winning strategy, girl. Alright, good. I think combat's over for the moment. Let's refill our bow. And let's continue. So, we're actually just in a little nook here, surrounded by walls on all sides with one other little building. Well, he's got a soul husk. How cool. We certainly want that. Note that thing up there that looks like a big-ass soul gem. No one's quite sure exactly what they are, but let me talk about it before I get too close. When I get close to that thing, it's going to start sucking the life out of me, quite literally. And even with my stats, it's going to happen at an alarming rate. That is the soul drain effect that the soul husk can protect against. I try not to burn husks for that because I would rather trade them to Morven Stroud, but we do have to be wary of what will happen when we climb that tower. There is some conjecture that these giant crystals are the ideal masters that Serana has been talking about, but that can be neither confirmed nor denied because they don't say anything. They just float up there and drain your health. Nonetheless, here it is. So we got Jub's Opus, page 3, which I'll take off the book list. And read. All in good time. Tracking what I called a lingerer, a cliff racer without a nest. He was a particularly feisty one, too, leading me on a merry chase across almost 3 miles of ash dunes. I had managed to take a piece out of one of his wings in an earlier scuffle, so he couldn't maintain much of a climb, but he still had quite a bit of stamina left, and he was trying to make me tire of the chase. Almost 2 solid hours passed, and my silt... And let's see, that's just a plain old copper and sapphire circlet. We got some good stuff in there. This isn't hurting nearly as badly as I remember. I wonder if something got fucked up with my difficulty. Nope, we're still on Legendary. Go figure. Anyway, there's the other set of soul embers I was looking for. Let's head back through the wall. into the entrance area. Stay here in the entrance zone for now. In my own terminology, this will be the entrance zone and that will be the main zone. Just so we can keep it straight. We need to explore this side of the wall. As we go along our merry way, can't help but notice this staircase here. There's a soul here even.
What am I doing here? I don't belong in a place like this.
Here is Jubb's Opus page 1, the 4th of 10. Take it off the list and read it. I am a hunter, I am a redeemer, I am Jubb. The tale of my rise to glory begins in the ash wastes of Morrowind. I rode alone, weapon at my side, and the burning wind stinging my face. My quest was arduous, but necessary to ensure the survival of the Dunmer people. A pestilence was creeping across the Ashlands. So the Book of Life and Service, I believe, is a new book. Yes, it is. So I'll take this off the list and read it. Although I don't have any need to pick it up, so I won't. The Book of Life and Service. The ranks of the blessed. Blessed are the bone men, for they serve without self in spirit forever. Blessed are the mist men, for they blend in the glory of the transcendent spirit. Blessed are the wrath men, for they render their rage unto the ages. Blessed are the masters, for they bridge the past and span the future. The litany of service. The bone man's oath. We die, we pray, to live, we serve. The master's voice. You swore to serve your Lord. Now what's interesting and super cool to me is that book, the Book of Life and Service, has been around since Morrowind. But it was only in the Dawnguard expansion to Skyrim, 9 years later, that we actually find out what any of that shit means. Alright. So, let's explore the rest of this side. Let me explain what this is. A lightning attractor. You can use these to turn soul gems black. If you put a non-black soul gem into the receptacle and then use the lightning attractor, it's entirely possible to turn it black. There will be a strike, some undead will appear, and you'll have a new black soul gem. I'm not going to bother. I got the black star. Be aware that that's something you can do. It looks like we got this one big building left to check out, with another ideal master maybe up at the top of it. Oh look, there's a moon over there. Go figure. And once we get past this one, I think we're actually in areas we've explored already, so let's just eyeball this big fella. A few more soul husks over on this side. Goody goody. Yeah, we're good. Near as I can tell, those whispery skins don't actually do anything. And if somebody has either confirmation or disputation of that, I'd appreciate it. But I've never seen them do anything except fly around. But I don't have that much exposure to Dawnguard. This is only my personal second visit to the Soul Cairn. So, we got some husks, we got souls.
They're watching us. Always watching.
That sounds horrific. Let's get up here. You can see the crystal there. Another soul over here. Doesn't look happy.
Stay away from the crystals, or you may find yourself becoming one of us.
I think we actually need to whirlwind sprint to get over there. Oh, by all means. Why not?
What? Now!
Whoa, did it not let me? Was I not elevated enough? I thought I was standing on the thing.
What? Now!
There we go. That's what I thought.
There's no escape.
And it probably turns out I didn't need to do that anyway. Nope, there's a staircase right here. Oh well. Oh well. Out we go. The old-fashioned way. I think we're done with the entrance area. So, let's point ourselves to the north. Find the main path and the gap in the wall. Oh, here's some husks I didn't find. Was gonna miss. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll take all of them, please. Now this I have seen. Okay, good. One wonders how I missed these then. So I've definitely seen all these buildings, but sometimes you just fail. Sometimes it's hard to see things when you explore. So let's make our way over here. And through the gap, which I'm not ending the video, don't worry, but I am gonna make a nice, quick anchor save, as well as quick save, just in case something goes wrong. So first things first, let's chat with the soul we can see here. Oh, it's a horse! But when we get close, he just goes. We can't interact with him yet.
How could they trick me like this? I was one of Reman's court wizards.
Oh, we're getting before any Elder Scrolls game with that guy. Now here at the cart, and the cart's kind of a giveaway, is Morven Stroud. First, let's grab Jub's Opus page 10 off of his barrel. Take it off the list and read it. That's 5 down, 5 to go. Not bad, right? About to strike me down in anger for my somewhat sordid past, suddenly I understood everything. Suddenly I realized that I was brought here for a reason. I should have died in those ash wastes, but Lord Vivek must have seen something inside me that he hadn't seen in millennia and decided to spare me from my fate. Thus began my ascent to sainthood. Thus began the rise of Jub. So you can see the cart here. Let me check the exteriors of these buildings for harvestable soul husks and whatnot. I don't really... Whoa. That's acting downright dangerous, like something's actually going to strike me. That would be new to me if it did happen. Alright, we got a few husks clinging to the wall over here. And by a few I mean one. With a chest. A steel war axe of cowardice. Alright. Fair enough. What about the other side of these buildings? Oh yeah, we got a skeleton. Plain and simple. Now, I find your journey through the Soul Cairn makes a bit more sense if you get direction from Valerica early. So, from here, we've fully explored the entrance area. We're kind of going to make a beeline to that castle-looking structure you can see over there. Spoiler alert, that's where Valerica is. We'll get some objectives from her, and then we'll set out to explore this main big area of the Soul Cairn. But here is Morven Stroud. Let's chat with him. What he says is pretty self-explanatory.
Well, look what we have here. Someone with flesh on their bones.
What's the matter with you?
Let's just say I sold something to a guy who turned out to work for a whole coven of necromancers. How in the name of Zenithar was I to know the ingredients were phony? Do I look like someone that would double-cross a necromancer?
So that's how you got here.
You got it. Horse, wagon, and all. Plopped here without so much as a word. I used to be one of the best traders in High Rock, you know. How people would track me down just to see what I had for sale.
Got anything left?
Very funny. And what exactly are you going to pay me with? Take a look around. Gold doesn't exactly win you any friends around here.
There must be something you want.
I'll tell you what. I appreciate what you're trying to do, so I'll play along. The only thing I see around here in abundance are soul husks. You know, those ugly fungus-looking things growing out of the ground. Bring me, say, 25 of them, and you can rummage through what was left on my cart.
Fair enough. What do you have?
Odds and ends I've gathered over the years. Well, used to gather, before all of this nonsense happened to me. Tell me what you're looking for, and maybe we can make a deal, if you have the husks.
Alright. So here are the different categories of what things he can give you. A sword, a battle axe, light armor, heavy armor, or a spell tome. Everything is 25 husks. Everything is random and leveled, so you could get pretty much any enchantment on any quality weapon or armor. I have no need for any of that. And you can get all the spell tomes except master spells from him. So by this point, I'm just chasing down stray spells. I obviously have no need for any gear. So I usually gather as many soul husks as I can and buy as many spell tomes as I can in the hope of randomly getting something I haven't encountered yet. I don't consider this a violation of Ironborn mode because we're doing it through dialogue and we're not spending gold. And there's really no other use for soul husks anyway. So, a spell tome.
Sure, here you go. Can't understand a word of it. Maybe it will do you some good.
Lesser ward.
I think a vampire would be right at home in this place. You'd be wrong.
Brought some soul husks? Or are you wasting my time?
Got anything left to sell?
Of course I do. What do you want?
Give me another spell tome, boss.
Sure. Here
Clairvoyance.
can't understand a word of it.
I can get 2 more right now.
Good. Of course I do. Sure.
Iron Flesh.
Can't
That may be
understand a
new.
word of it.
Then again, maybe not. Yeah, we already know all 3 of those.
Do some good.
It's alright.
Sure, got plenty. What am I gonna do with it?
1 more spell tome for now.
Sure, here you go. Can't understand a word?
Dread Zombie. Oops.
Maybe it will do.
Oh good, that one was new. So we've learned the spell Dread Zombie off the conjuration list. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Do some good.
So let's just dump the other ones on the skeleton. I don't want to carry him around since I have no real use for him. And we'll stop by to visit him again after we explore the rest of the cairn and we have more husks to spend. For now, let's get back on the main path and kind of focus on it. I'll try not to veer too far off and only do it if there's a soul husk I can see pretty easily in range, like that one. Anything inside there? No. You can see where the main path is going. It's actually remarkably straightforward, given the wide open nature of this area in general. But here you can see we're actually at a 4-way intersection. We can turn southeast, we can continue northeast, or we can turn northwest. We want to continue northeast, straight towards the big castle-looking structure. So let's That's not a husk, that's a fisher. Let's just keep on going. Straight up this way for now. All the rest will come later.
Where'd you come from?
There's Arvac. And time to kill a few bone men. So be it. Not a fan of archers. And the limb first. Ooh, he got to me. How about that? Motherfucker! There you go. Oh.
Who's there? I knew I heard something.
It's just another boat man. That's fine. Oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry, Serana. Then again, maybe you shouldn't jump into the way when I'm gutting motherfuckers down. Just a thought. Anyway, no need for ectoplasm. I am a fan of arrows. They're weightless and they're ammo. And now we can keep going. Straight through here for now. Another nice little four-way intersection. Up, up, up the path. And naturally our conversation with Valerica is going to be a long one. Just, you know, be prepared. It's story time. You all know how this goes. We're advancing the main plot of the expansion. And that's actually a whole different area, so we won't go there just yet. Let's just head up here. Lo and behold, there she is.
Mother?
Completed. Locate Valerica.
Mother!
Maker, it can't be. Serana?
Is it really you? I can't believe it. How do we get inside? We have to talk.
Serana, what are you doing here? Where's your father?
He doesn't know we're here. I don't have time to explain.
I must have failed. Harkon's found a way to decipher the prophecy, hasn't he?
No, you've got it all wrong. We're here to stop him, to make everything right.
Wait a moment. You've brought a stranger here? Have you lost your mind?
No, you don't...
You, come forward. I would speak with you. So how has it come to pass that a vampire hunter is in the company of my daughter? It pains me to think you'd travel with Serana under the guise of her protector in an effort to hunt me down.
Speak to Valerica. So, you got three options. I'll pick, this is no ruse. I want to keep her safe.
Coming from one who murders vampires as a trade, I find it hard to believe your intentions are noble. Serana has sacrificed everything to prevent Harkon from completing the prophecy. I would have expected her to explain that to you.
That's why I'm here for the Elder Scroll.
You think I'd have the audacity to place my own daughter in that tomb for the protection of her Elder Scroll alone? The scrolls are merely a means to an end. The key to the tyranny of the sun is Serana herself.
What do you mean?
When I fled Castle Volkahar, I fled with 2 Elder Scrolls. The scroll I presume you found with Serana speaks of Ariel and his arcane weapon, Ariel's bow. The second scroll declares that the blood of Cold Harbor's daughter will blind the eye of the dragon.
How does Serana fit in?
Like myself, Serana was a human once. We were devout followers of Lord Molig Bal. Tradition dictates the females be offered to Molig Bal on his summoning day. Few survive the ordeal. Those that do emerge as a pure-blooded vampire. We call such confluences the Daughters of Cold Harbor.
Serana underwent this ritual willingly?
It was expected of her. just as it was expected of me. Being selected as an offering to Molig Bal is an honor. She wouldn't have dared turn her back on that.
Cold Harbor?
It's what some call the domain of Molig Bal, his place in oblivion.
The tyranny of the sun requires Serana's blood?
Now you're beginning to see why I wanted to protect Serana, and why I've kept the other Elder Scroll as far from her as possible.
Are you saying Harkon means to kill her?
If Harkon obtained Ariel's bow, and Serana's blood was used to taint the weapon, the tyranny of the sun would be complete. In his eyes, she'd be dying for the good of all vampires.
I would never allow that to happen.
And how exactly do you plan on stopping him?
I'll need your help.
Have you been listening to me? Like Serana, I'm a pure-blooded vampire. My presence on Tamriel is as much of a danger as hers.
And Serana's opinion in this?
You care nothing for Serana, or our plight. Whether or not you've become one of us in order to survive the Soul Cairn, you're still a vampire hunter at heart. You're here because we're abominations in your mind. Evil creatures that need to be destroyed.
Serana believes in me. Why won't you?
Serana? This stranger aligns himself with those that would hunt you down and slay you like an animal. Yet I should entrust you to him.
This stranger has done more for me in the brief time I've known him than you've done in centuries.
How dare you? I gave up everything I cared about to protect you from that fanatic you call a father.
Yes, he's a fanatic. He's changed. But he's still my father. Why can't you understand how that makes me feel?
Oh, Serana, if you'd only open your eyes. The moment your father discovers your role in the prophecy, that he needs your blood, you'll be in terrible danger.
So to protect me, you decided to shut me away from everything I cared about. You never asked me if hiding me in that tomb was the best course of action. You just expected me to follow you blindly. Both of you were obsessed with your own paths. Your motivations might have been different, but in the end, I'm still just a pawn to you two. I want us to be a family again. But I don't know if we can ever have that. Maybe we don't deserve that kind of happiness. Maybe it isn't for us. But we have to stop him, before he goes too far. And to do that, we need the Elder Scroll.
I'm sorry, Serana. I didn't know. I didn't see. I've allowed my hatred of your father to estrange us for too long. Forgive me. If you want the Elder Scroll, it's yours. Your intentions are still somewhat unclear to me, but for Serana's sake, I'll assist you in any way that I can.
Do you have the Elder Scroll with you?
Yes. I've kept it safely secured here ever since I was imprisoned. Fortunately, you're in a position to breach the barrier that surrounds these ruins.
What do we need to do?
You need to locate the tallest of the rocky spires that surround these ruins. At their bases, the barrier's energy is being drawn from unfortunate souls that have been exiled here. Destroy the keepers that are tending them, and it should bring the barrier down.
We'll return soon.
One more word of warning. There's a dragon that calls itself Durnevere roaming the cairn. Be wary of him. The Ideal Masters have charged him with overseeing the Keepers, and will undoubtedly intervene if you're perceived as a threat.
Completed. Speak to Valerica. Kill the Boneyard Keepers. 0 of 3. Why haven't you pursued the prophecy?
Harkon's vision is a world plunged in eternal darkness, where the vampire can flourish, and never again fear the tyranny of the sun. What he fails to realize is how much attention would be called to our kind if the prophecy came to fruition.
What sort of
The
attention?
eternal night fell. There were many who wouldn't stand for it. They would raise armies in attempts to return things to normal. The order of the day would be our destruction, until every last vampire was hunted down and eliminated.
So you prefer living in the shadows?
I do. It's how the vampire has survived for millennia, and the only way we can continue to survive in the future.
If I leave the Soul Cairn, can I safely return?
As you've been traveling in the Soul Cairn, your body has become attuned to it. Let's just say a tiny part of you rubbed off on it, and in its place, a bit of the Soul Cairn filled the void. You should find no difficulty using the portal any longer.
How did you become imprisoned here?
When I entered the Soul Cairn, I had to strike a bargain with the Ideal Masters, the custodians of this place.
What was the bargain?
I requested refuge in the Soul Cairn, and in exchange, I would provide the Ideal Masters the souls that they craved. If I had foreseen the value they placed on my own soul, I would never have come here.
They tricked you.
The Ideal Masters unleashed their keepers and sent them to destroy me. Fortunately, I was able to hold them at bay and retreat into these ruins.
You became trapped.
Unfortunately, yes. Since the keepers weren't able to claim my soul, they had their minions construct a barrier that I'd never be able to breach.
You've been imprisoned here for all this time?
Time has very little meaning to me. Consequently, it has little meaning to the Ideal Masters as well. I suppose you could call this the ultimate waiting game, each watching the other to see which will give in.
Who are the Ideal Masters?
I know very little about them. They're mystic entities that lord over the Soul Cairn, controlling every aspect from its fabric to its appearance.
What do they resemble?
Well, some necromancers believe they are the crystalline structures dotting the Soul Cairn. I believe there's more to it than that.
How so?
I think they transcend what we perceive as a physical form. Perhaps they were once corporeal beings, but they've obviously reached a point where they no longer require a tangible presence.
And the crystals?
Conduits, through which the Ideal Masters speak to their underlings and feed on their victims.
Why would they require sustenance?
The Ideal Masters' weakness is their insatiable hunger for pure souls. It's the reason for the Soul Cairn's existence, and the only leverage a necromancer has when bargaining with them.
What do the Masters provide in return?
The ability to summon powerful undead guardians, as one would conjure an Atronak or Daedra. However, the majority of necromancers that are foolish enough to enter into a bargain with the Ideal Masters wind up here as harvested souls.
All right, fair enough.
Be careful, and keep my daughter safe.
Serana and I have located Valerica imprisoned within a massive ruin. When confronted by us, Valerica revealed that Serana's blood is an integral part of the tyranny of the sun. After the reconciliation between the two of them, Valerica confessed to having the Elder Scroll hidden in her ramshackle living space. In order to free her from the prison, Serana and I will have to locate and slay the keepers who maintain the barrier around the ruins. Now let's chat with Serana.
Let's kill those keeper things and get back to the prison.
Excuse me. How are you feeling after talking to your mother?
Relieved, I think. All those things have been building for a while. You have no idea how long I wanted to say that to her.
Why did you ever agree to her plan?
Look, I loved my father, but when he found that prophecy, that became his life. Everything else, even me and my mother, we just became clutter. I was close with my mother, but she just kept feeding me her opinions of him, and eventually I started believing them.
She doesn't seem too fond of him.
The moment we gave ourselves to Molik Bal, things got really icy between them. They were both drunk with power, and pulling in different directions. And then he found that prophecy, and that was it.
And you were caught in the middle.
I was. Honestly, it took me up until now to figure out that my mother was really just as bad as he was. He was obsessed with power. She was obsessed with seeing him fail. It was just so toxic. Maybe I could have seen this coming. We could all be better off now.
You shouldn't blame yourself.
You don't know what it's like, coming from a family like that. Everything eventually tumbles down to you. Anyway, we should keep moving.
Fair enough. Alrighty. Oh, Let's head back down the main path a little ways. And at the first opportunity, let's hang a left. You can see we actually are on a path heading around the big structure, which I think we've learned is called the Boneyard. If I'm in the spot I hope I'm in, I should first be able to just check the exterior of this structure here. And there's nothing. I guess that's no real surprise. No soul here.
They're watching us. Always watching.
And another one here.
You know, I visited elsewhere once. What a strange and wondrous place.
This isn't what I was looking for. I'll be back here later. I think I turned early on something that isn't actually a path. Yeah, let's go down here. So that's not actually a path either, but this... well, this spot made itself look like something, but it isn't. Go figure. Hello. There's Arvac again. Alright. You can head all the way down here. This is what I was after. We're nearly all the way back to Morven. That's fine. Note that we've got a platform here. Well, actually, the path winds its way over to this thing anyway. Do note that we've got another lightning attractor here. I don't think there's anything I need up here next to it. No, there's not. We can just continue on our merry way, following the path at what was its first eastward fork. Keeping my eyes peeled for soul husks, but suddenly I'm really not seeing as many. There's Arvac again. What's up, bro? And what we come to is this building right here. This is what I was looking for first. As you can see, we have a rather sizable building here. Let's do the perimeter check. Looks like we're gonna have to fight some stuff on the roof, if and when we get up there. We'll worry about that later. Now let me nip these soul husks. Ah, Ghost Brahmin. How fun. Obviously, here's the entrance to this thing. I think right here is where we first came off the path, so we didn't wander too far. Although you will note that the path wanders off to the south. We're not going there quite yet. Let's head this way instead. Let's check shit out. Oh, look! The Bone Men made their way down to ground level. I guess to fight Serana? Must be, it's the only thing that makes any sense. What's up, bro? Oh, sucks to be you, Brohim. Oh, here's our first Mist Man. Nothing special. Actually physically weaker than Bone Men, but they fight with magic instead of weapons. And as you could probably tell, they look like floating torsos. Top halves of skeletons. Top halves, not halves. I can talk, I promise. I speak it to English real good. Alrighty. Well, that takes care of that. You can head through here, wary of the big crystal, of course. Noting everything else. I don't see anything in these big outskirts either. Oh, here's our first Wrathman. They're, a Soul Husk. They are physically the strongest of the various things you can fight here. That is a teleporter. We'll deal with it in a moment. Let's see what we can find without teleporting first. Well, this is where the Bone Men were when they spotted us. Go figure. What will we find if we head over here? Why, we'll find a sack of soul husks and a chest with some darn good stuff in it. And let's head back down there. And let's hit the teleporter. We've been going 1 hour now. This is a special night. I'm doing a 2-hour recording. So we wind up here. The crystal will immediately start going after you, so be quick. Inside the chest, the thing to make sure you grab is this Reaper Gem Fragment. It's an unmarked quest. There are 3 of these scattered throughout the Soul Cairn. If you get all 3, surprise, surprise, you can fight a Mondo optional monster called the Reaper. Alright, let's just take a dive. And now let's backfill a little bit. Almost as if we followed the dividing wall. Or more accurately, as if we actually stayed on this path. Head south where we've got a quest marker so you can see that these are the towers Valerica was talking about. And inside that one, sure enough, we're going to fight our first keeper. Before that, let's prance around and get some soul husks. Get to where I can more or less clearly see back to Morven. Satisfy myself I'm not missing anything. Then we'll hit this little building and we'll rock that tower. The little building doesn't seem to have anything, but I'll walk through it. Sometimes that spawns monsters. There's your big tower. Let's do a perimeter check on it before we head inside. And just for giggles, let's hit this other little tower too. Alright, this one's actually something important. I'll deal with it. There's a Wrathman here. You can see him buried. I do wonder what his trigger is that'll pull him out of the ground. You can see some souls, and you can see the first keeper. They wear what certainly looks like dragon plate armor. No, you cannot harvest it off them. They aren't that tough. Kill the Boneyard keepers. 1 of 3. Delightful. They will, however, drop their dragon bone weapons, which is pretty cool. I think he devoured the other souls that were sitting here with him. And with him gone, 1 of the 3 seals is broken. Pretty neat. We keep following the path. Well, it does a few things. We got some soul husks here. Let's go over to this little spot first. That was actually a full-blown path split. We want to take this one first. Then head into this little tower, where we can get the Conjure Wrathman spell tome. Summons a Wrathman from the Soul Cairn for 120 seconds. And we can take Conjure Wrathman off of our spell list. Cool, cool, cool. Excitement abounds, I know. Let's head out here. Sure enough, taking the spell tome is what triggered those Wrathmen. Let's eliminate them. With them handled, we can search those. Take the soul husk if nothing else. Let's see. Got a wandering soul here.
What I said to Patema was I thought she looked a little portly in that gown. How was I supposed to know?
Well, even I know that was fucking stupid, girlfriend. And all I did was read the books. You actually knew the woman. Let's see. Oh yeah, I remember. This building here is the Reaper's Lair. We'll be here later. Fight these. Just because they already spawned, but we'll be back here to actually check out the Reaper's Lair later, so let me head back here instead. Back to the path split, where we can take the other one. Eyes peeled for soul husks, as always. Now this, I think, we haven't seen yet. It's called a soul well. Let's kill the enemies here. Search those two. Recharge our weapon. Search around here. There is another page of Jub's Opus. It's the 6th page we found. Page 5. We've got 4 to go. And the Silt Strider bouncing me around at full gallop. Finally, with a silent prayer, I released the string. The arrow sang through the air like a howling demon as it sliced its way towards its target. Finally, just as it crested the lip of a foyata, the arrow struck it in the midsection. It let out a horrible cry and fell out of sight. My cries of triumph were... We'll take that. And then if we head even a little farther along this path, you can see a soul here. This is Jub! They even brought back the voice actor. It's even the same voice actor from... He actually did a whole shitload of voices in Morrowind, but here he is.
What do you want?
What exactly are you doing?
How does anyone expect me to write my opus with all of these rude interruptions?
Opus? What do you mean?
What do I mean, indeed? If I hadn't lost all of the pages, I wouldn't be in this predicament, and we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Let's just start at the beginning.
Very well. A moment or two of my time couldn't hurt. I am Chib. Some call me Saint Chib. Others call me Chib the Eradicator. Perhaps you've heard of me.
Nope, never heard of you.
I can't say that I'm surprised by your answer. Until I get my 2nd volume published, no one will ever know of my achievements.
You're talking about a book?
A book? I'd hardly call a 26-volume epic simply a book. Surely you've heard of the rise and fall of St. Chib the Eradicator, hero of Morrowind and savior of the Dunmer.
Maybe a shorter title is in order?
Maybe you should leave the writing to an expert. Stop making foolish suggestions.
How is your work going so far?
Terrible. Simply terrible. I was in the midst of writing the 2nd volume, and they just threw me into this prison. It's unfair.
Who threw you in here?
That damned Remora and his minions. They didn't even give me a chance to explain who I was.
A Dremora captured you?
Well, I assume so. They cast a spell at me from some kind of strange black crystal. Next thing I knew, I arrived here.
Your soul was trapped.
My what? Wait. That means...
You're dead.
No. All these wasted months. Or has it been years? I don't even remember how much time has passed. No, my work will never see the light of day. My name will be forgotten.
Could I help?
Perhaps. Do you have a way out of here?
I do, but you can't leave that way.
Maybe I can't leave, but my writings can. In order to write the 2nd volume of my opus, I need the notes from my 1st volume. Otherwise, I need to do all of this from memory.
How many pages did you lose?
When I was tossed in here, I felt myself falling, and I dropped the pages I had been holding. There were 10 of them in all. Find them for me, please. I beg you.
Started, Impatience of a Saint. Find pages from St. Jib's Opus, 6 of 10. How did you earn your nicknames?
Ah, yes. St. Jib, Jib the Eradicator, Jib the Magnificent. I've earned a lot of those titles thanks to my campaign against the Winged Menace.
Winged Menace?
Yes, I'm speaking of the Cliff Racer, of course. Wretched things. They used to crisscross the skies over Morrowind like vermin. Nasty flying creatures with a habit of sneaking up on the unwary.
What was your campaign against them?
After I was freed from prison, I decided to turn my life around. Give something back to the people of Morrowind. It became quickly apparent that the best way I could help would be by wiping out the Cliff Racers.
Were you successful?
Indeed I was. I hunted down and killed every last one of them. Took years. The people of Morrowind were so grateful to have the roads safer again, they took to calling me St. Jib, and then the other names followed.
You said you were in prison?
That was a dark time in my life. I did a lot of things I ended up regretting. Maybe that's why I worked so hard to redeem myself once I was freed.
What did you do?
I murdered others for money. And before you think I belong to some romantic or secretive guild, think again. I was simply an addict who needed money for skooma. The stuff wasn't cheap, and murder always seemed to be in demand.
How'd you get caught?
I finally bit off more than I could chew. I was paid to assassinate some high-ranking official from House Redorin. What I didn't know is someone had hired the Morag Tong to kill him as well.
Rival assassin?
Exactly. He got to my target first and called the guard to cover his tracks. By the time I got there, the place was on alert. Walked right into a trap and didn't even realize it until I was captured.
So what ended up happening to you?
They tried me for murder, threw me on a prison ship, and sent me to the jail in Vivek City. Gave me a lot of time to think, that's for sure.
Why would a Dromora attack you?
Well, that's a ridiculous question. Everyone traveling through here has said that the Oblivion Gates have been opening all over Tamriel.
That was a bit before my time.
Has it been that long? Oh my. Well, it started with the followers of Mehrunes Dagon having Emperor Uriel Septim VII assassinated. Without a septim on the throne of the Empire, Dagon was able to leave Oblivion through the gates and attack.
Why was Dagon able to do this?
All I heard is that without a septum sitting on the throne of the Empire, the dragon fires in a place called the Temple of the One were no longer lit. This meant that we were vulnerable to the forces of Oblivion.
What ended up happening?
Well, I don't know. Everything seemed fine until that Dromora attacked me. I only heard later about the gates from the other souls. I can only assume the gates have been closed by now.
Where were you captured?
I had just moved from my ancestral home in Morrowind to the continent of Cyrodiil. I settled in the city of Kavach to write my memoirs and to find some peace and quiet.
If you've played Oblivion, you know that Kavach is the first city that gets destroyed after the gates open. Is that where you were attacked?
Indeed. One moment I was writing diligently, and the next, my door bursts open. It was a cadre of Dromora, the city was under attack. I took it upon myself to join the cause and fight the Dremora, thinking this would simply be another feather in my cap.
Didn't work out that way, I assume.
The reason I'm standing in front of you as only a whisper of my former self should tell you that. I never knew what became of Kvatch. I wonder if they were triumphant without me.
Cool.
At this rate, my first volume will be complete. Don't give up.
So, Impatience of a Saint. While exploring the Soul Cairn, I've come across the soul of a strange Dunmer named Jib. He claims to be writing the second volume of his life story, but lacks the notes from his first in order to complete it. He's asked for my help in locating the pages, which are likely spread across the entire Soul Cairn. Quite a daunting task. It's not that bad. So if we keep heading north, to where we saw those, you can just stay on this path, that'll work just fine. Got another big building off to the west. Let's stick with north for now. Yet another fork. There's a bone man there. Not sure why he's just chilling, but I'm cool with it. Let's take the right fork for now. You can see over here, big bunch of people standing around a tower. That's our next destination. We can veer off the path here, head over to this plinth, retrieve Arvak's skull. Those souls all turn into mistmen. Which really isn't a big deal. That one has a soul husk. That's always nice. I'd like to track down the fourth one, but I don't really care enough to look really hard. Oh, but there it is. So we grab Arvak's skull. Return Arvak's skull. And his owner spawns in, conveniently, right next to us.
Arvak! You saved him! His soul is free, I can feel it!
Completed. Return Arvak's skull.
Here, I'll teach you how to call him to you. He'll help you get around this wretched place. But I'm sure he'd be much happier someplace sunnier. Goodbye, hero. Take good care of Arvak for me. Such a good horse.
So we learn the spell, Summon Arvak. And let me tell you, Arvak, he's not kidding. Arvak is a good horse. Summons Arvak in the Soul Cairn or Tamriel Wilderness to act as your steed. You can call Arvak anywhere. So once you have this spell, you basically never need to worry about getting over encumbered again, because you can just call Arvak and fast travel as needed. Take Summon Arvak off my spell list, go to the quest list. This is in the creation kit called the Soul Cairn Horse Quest. It, of course, is now done. Very cool. Now, from here, let's get back to the path, keep following it northeast towards the second keeper tower we can see levitating over there. worry about these other buildings in a minute. Very good. 1, 2, there's another soul husk. 3. Now before we hit the tower, spot this, and spot a wandering soul over here. He doesn't have anything to say, apparently. Neither does he. That's okay. I'm more interested in their tower, anyway. Let's perimeter check it, and then duck inside. Wrathman. Oh, god damn it. I do hate it when that happens. I especially hate that I can't find my fucking bow now. Anyway, nothing here but another copy of the Book of Life and Service. Well, I know I dropped it, but where did it go? Where did it land? There it is. Whew. It's not going to be good if I couldn't find it, I'll tell you that. Anyway, let's hit this teleporter. I think it's just going to take us to the top of this thing. Yeah, more just a little demo of how they work than anything important, but still we've explored that. Can nip up here to this little staircase. Where there is the Conjure Mistman spell tome, which of course we'll want to use. Take Conjure Mistman off our spell list. Goody goody. There's also page 7 of Jub's Opus here. Take it off the list and read it, and we will have 3 left to find. Excellent. Flat of my glass blade. There was no need for the innocent thing to die here today because of my stupidity. As the ash cloud cleared from being stirred up by its massive legs, the cliff racer brood approached. I held my sword high and prepared for the worst. The battle lasted 2 full days. I was beaten, clawed, bitten, and knocked down more times than I care to... And that's 7 out of 10 pages of St. Jub's Opus. Oh, and there are some more Mistmen.
Who's there?
Yay! Well, we need to deal with them, of course. Oh, come on. That's enough running away. I can't really blame him, it's the intelligent choice, but that doesn't make it less annoying. Alright. Back to the path. Back to the tower. Where we can ride the teleporter up to the second keeper. I think he starts above us. I'd love to get a sneak attack on him. Kill the Boneyard keepers. 2 of 3. Awesome. Ooh. I think we have to go all the way to the top of the tower to find another teleporter to get back down. There we are. Let's go back to the last fork in the path and head west this time. Explore this building with a big evil crystal in it. As usual, I'll do a perimeter check before I actually go in. Well, I hear something. In and up. We're gonna get zapped, but that's alright. Let's get to the chest, where the important bit is the second Reaper Gem fragment. Let's grab that. Now we can follow the path back and take the next fork we skipped to get up to that building I ran to early. I got a mist man on the loose. Let's handle it. Roll up here, grab the 8th page of Jub's opus, page 4, Jib, I guess it's Jib. They pronounce it Jub when they talk about him in Oblivion, but I'll trust him about the pronunciation of his own name. Strider was tiring, but I couldn't give up. I had sworn to eliminate the foul beasts to the last, and I wasn't about to let it go. If I was going to stop the thing, I'd have to do it fast. I pulled my longbow from my back and knocked my last arrow. I took a deep breath and pulled, trying to keep the cliff racer in my sights. It was literally a long shot, with the beast gaining distance. Find pages from Jib's opus, 8 of 10. Neat. So now we can head down here. We can save a little time just by hugging the Boneyard, which is the name of this big palace-looking structure. I'm gonna hop over this, duck into here. We're back at Valerica, and we've cleared half of the main zone. We've got the other half left to do. And it starts almost immediately with this little structure you get to just by continuing past Valerica. There's what looks like a collapsed word wall here, but there's not actually anything there. Just a coin purse and the 9th page, page 2 of Jib's opus. We only have one left to find. Jib's opus, page 2. A menace with an insatiable hunger that plagued innocent travelers simply trying to get home. It was my self-sworn task to hunt them down one by one and drive them from the skies. Their fury knew no bounds, and their war cry resonated across the land. They were the notorious cliff racers, and they had to be destroyed. On a particularly hot day during sun's height, I was... Find pages from St. Jib's opus, 9 out of 10. Let's search this boss chest. Nothing important there, but that's okay. I think we can climb the wall in this ruin, but I don't think there's actually anything else to it. Nope, it's just cosmetic. I guess the collapsed word wall is meant as some sort of teaser. I don't really know. But we can stay on the path, heading farther west. And it'll form a big loop, ultimately coming back to that 4-way intersection near the gap in the wall heading to the entrance zone. Let's just head this way, through this little tower. I'm looking and looking and not seeing anything. We got a tunnel here. That's interesting. Let's do a perimeter check on this thing first, and then we'll actually explore it. You can kind of see how this winds up working. Oh good, that wasn't a total bust. There is a soul husk hiding back here. Now I feel at least a little justified. If only a little. Oh, we've aggroed a couple of bone men. Let's deal with them. Always, always.
Done and done.
We got that guy. We got that guy. And we can duck through the tunnel to see what's inside the actual building. The answer is apparently stairs and a chest. Nothing too important in it, but it's there. We've fulfilled our completionist duties by finding it. Let's keep looping. See almost immediately the next little building we're going to need to explore. It's not actually that little. I see soul husks off on the plains here, so let's take a little break to go get those. Even as we get ambushed by a bone man. Don't much care. They are very, very easy to deal with after all. Where is he anyway? There he is. You can see we've actually almost made our way back to the wall. Let's do a perimeter check on this building. And note that we've actually got a good deal of space back here, including but not limited to the third Keeper Tower. We'll want to perimeter check this thing first. Of course. Fully cognizant of the path in front of it and where that ultimately goes. Oh, gold. Skelly.
All I said to Patema was I thought you looked a little portly in that gown. How was I supposed to know?
Anyway, perimeter check's done. Let's head into here. These bone piles are usually hiding places for undead to spawn. 4 bone men. Let's go around. Five bone men. It's 4 to search. 3, 2, 1, 0. Perfect. So if we shoot that orb, well, that got rid of 1 set of bars. What do I have to shoot to handle the other set? That's a good question. Something back here, maybe. Let's look around. Let's check it out. There it is. Somehow I missed it. Twice.
Let's kill those keeper things and get back to the prison.
Oh. I must have hit it every time. It just didn't do a strike or disappear. Oh, there we go. There's another chest. Goody. And so we got multiple buildings back here. Let's stick to the path we were on for the moment.
Only those who have suffered long can find the light within the shadows.
As you can see, we are just about back to the entrance with Morven. There it is, that same intersection. So we got this little building to explore and then the segment back there. And then we'll be done, and that'll be a good time to end the video. There he is. Handled that one. Lovely. So let's do a perimeter check on this one first. There are some soul husks back here. That's awesome. in a very black and purple sort of way, the Soul Cairn really does evoke a plane of oblivion, like when we were running around Mehrunes Dagon's Deadlands in, well, in Oblivion. Alright. I know there's a way in there. There it is. Apparently there's another one. Ah, right there. Alright, good. Let's hit that one too. Now we can get in. And what do we get for the trouble? Near as I can tell, a fat lot of nothing.
The sooner we get out of this place, the better.
So it goes sometimes. Do that work to get in here and there's not actually anything there. Ah well. Thanks, Bethesda. You done trolled me. Like champions. Alright, so let's find the path. I think in this instance, the intended path actually goes through the ruin. Yeah, there it is. Oh, which way? Let's go this way. Get to this fork, where we'll go over here to another big building, one of the few that's left actually. We really are almost done, even if it doesn't quite seem that way. Let's grab a soul husk here. Perimeter check this big guy. Kill these bone men. Because fuck them, right? Got that one. Got a bar there. Got those. And more or less got nothing here, but that's fine. Let's roll on over. Let's go into this thing. And it, I guess it's a sort of maze in that you can take a few forks. Void Salt's Atronach Forge recipe. Is that a new one? It is! So I can take Void Salt's, the Atronach Forge recipe, off of my book list. Pretty cool. Let's read the note. Salt, Amethyst, Soul Gem. Pretty basic, pretty cool. Alright. I'm gonna turn left at every intersection. It's gonna be my exploration strategy for this classic style basic maze. Got a bone man there. He's handled. No problem. Right here we got soul husks. Well, I don't know, Serrano, where did you go? How did you wind up fighting a Wrathman outside? I don't know. I don't care. I'll search him when I'm done inside. So now it's actually become fairly straightforward. These carpets are kind of a clue that we've actually gotten to the end when you get to that teleporter, but let's search the sack.
Where'd you come from?
We like soul gems. Let's kill another bone man so we can search another chest. Now let's go step on that teleporter. I think we're getting... Oh, I thought we were getting ganked by a crystal, but not yet. Obviously, we need to head up there. Where there is... What? An empty chest? Empty? What kind of bullshit is this? But over here is the final page of Jub's Opus, page 9. Let's take it off the book list and give it a read. Minutes, but I finally managed to do it. As my eyes adjusted to the dim light of my new surroundings, I realized that I was standing before Lord Vivek himself. He was simply staring at me, floating above his throne and staring at me with his piercing eyes. When I began to prostrate myself as a sign of respect, he held up one of his hands as if to say it wasn't necessary. Was I dead? Was Lord Vivek pleased with me? Was he? Completed. Fine pages from St. Jib's Opus. Return to Jib. I've located all of the notes that Jib lost when he arrived in the Soul Cairn. I should return them to him when I get the chance. And indeed we shall. But before we do that... let's head back to the entrance to this. Get on another path. Follow this one a little ways, and we actually want to veer off into this graveyard in the center. We'll have to fight off several bone men. But it's worth it, because this is where you get the spell tome, Conjure Bone Man. Last of the 3, and we can take it off of our spell list. Very good. So let's fight the bone men. Note all the soul husks you can gather around this little altar as well. Alright. They're all handled. Now I want to head back... and where I first veered off the path. Which was right here. Now let's follow it instead, and it forms a nice loop. Which makes all this pretty easier to navigate than it looks. So here's the third keeper tower. Apparently it's in the back of this big building. Well, let's do a perimeter check on the building before we do anything else. Mainly, as ever, looking for soul husks. So I'm going to be pretty low on time by the time I get to the end of this, so let me tell you what my plan is. I'm going to explore this last structure and kill the third keeper in this video, and then I'm going to end it. Who knows if I'll have time to sign off or not. I'm going to end the video when I'm done exploring the Soul Cairn, and all that's really left is backtracking to places I've already been. Note the teleporter here. In the next video, I will turn in the quests. We'll head over to the Boneyard to progress the main line, explore the Boneyard itself, which really isn't nearly as big as the bigger, broader Soul Cairn. And when all that's done, it'll be time to head back to Tamriel. So, our perimeter check is almost done. Finally finding a healthy amount of soul husks again. It had been a while, you must admit. Alright, let's veer off into this building now. I got 1, 2, Wrathmen. There's the third keeper. You can see him over there doing his thing. Completed. Kill the Boneyard keepers. Speak to Valerica. That flavor text hasn't changed. That's fine. I got 2 of those. I got this whole building to search, even though I don't really remember there being much here. Oh, look how wrong I am. Look at all these soul husks. Got a teleporter here. That's 2 teleporters we still need to check out. Plus the one in back, so let's not forget it. And point of fact, I'm gonna go kill these things that are obviously hassling Serana, wherever they came from. Smacked Serana. Didn't mean to do that, sorry. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, whatever. We've already looked here, but let's go ahead and hit this teleporter and back just to see where it takes us, because we're very nearly done. We have here a coin purse, a knapsack, a few soul husks, skelly, dragon priest dagger, staff of paralysis. Although that is an interesting little find. Not quite sure what to make of it. That looks self-contained. And like there's basically no good way down. Oh, maybe that's not true. Okay. Well, this is where the Keeper Throne was. So, what about the teleporter over here? Where does this one go? To another lightning attractor and another chest. This chest has nothing important inside. That's fine. Stuck down, let's explore the final side. Besides the Keeper throne. I guess I never searched him, did I? There we go. We head over here. Nothing but another entrance door, but we've got this last gate to check out too, with its 2 shootable targets. We got one last crystal, always fun. And inside this chest is the important 3rd and final Reaper Gem fragment. And now with all that, we can get on this path and loop back this way, which is ultimately going to close the loop and take us back. So we've now actually fully explored the Soul Cairn. There are actually a couple of other things I want to do if I can. First things first, let's go visit Morven. See what we can get off of him with, let's see, I can make 6 purchases. 6 random spell tomes. Let's hope we get at least one good one, eh? And then we've actually still got the buildings next to Morven to explore as well. I never did that, did I? Let's check them out first while we're here. Teleporter. Takes us to a nearby roof. Nothing too special, but we can drop down and search this chest. Not too bad. Then we can shoot the orb here. There's got to be another one somewhere. There it is. We got another chest in here. Alright, now let's visit Morven.
Brought some soap. Of course I do. What do you... Sure. Here.
Water breathing.
Can't
We already
understand a
know.
word of it. Maybe it will do you some good. Sure.
5.
Got plenty. What am I? Sure.
4.
Here you go. Can't understand a word of it. Maybe it will do you some good.
Icy spear.
Brought some Of course I do. Sure. Here you go.
Command
Can't
Daedra.
understand a word of it. Maybe it will do you some good.
So far I think I know all of these, but we got 3 more.
Sure. Here you go.
Get out of this place.
Can't
the
understand.
Wall of Frost is definitely a new one. So we learned Wall of Frost. We can take it off of the spell list. Very cool. And I can buy 2 more, right? 2 more?
Maybe
Yes.
it will do you some good. Of course I do. Sure. Here you go.
better. Get out of this place.
Can't
the better.
understand a word of it. Maybe it will do you some good.
We know Detect Life. Let's get 1
Of
more.
course I do. Sure. Here you go. Can't understand a word.
And we know Oak Flesh, but that's fine. So, alright, now
Do you some good.
we have well and truly explored everything, so we can cut a direct line over to Jib. And actually, what I just said still isn't quite true. There are 2, and this time, thankfully, they're both separate cells to explore. But we've got... trying to think. We've got the Boneyard, where Valerica is, and we have the Reaper's Lair. or I still haven't explored the exterior, so let me do that first. Real quick. So he's southeast from Jib. There it is. That would be the Reaper's Lair. Pretty straightforward, not too terrible to get to. If we head over to this structure, you can see there's another lightning attractor. In what I think is otherwise a dead end. But I'll fully explore it just to be certain. Always want to be certain. Even though we're running low on time. Really low, like I need to end this ASAP. But before I rush to do any of that, let's get a couple more husks. Let's go to the Reaper's Lair. Right here, you can see a dead adventurer with a note. This one, I think it's... I have it actually tagged as note in parentheses DG, meaning it's part of the Dawn Guard expansion. So, they warned me not to go through that portal. What did I have to be scared of? I've been adventuring for years and I never seen nothing that I couldn't wallop. But this place, ain't nothing living here. Just dead things up and about when they should be in the ground. I can hear their bones scratching at the rocks and knocking together when they talk. If I get home, I'll hang up my sword and never go out again. Alright, so now I'm just going to sprint back to Jib and I'm actually going to end it there. So next time on Let's Play Skyrim, we will wrap up the Soul Cairn. We've actually fully explored the big zone that is the Soul Cairn. To start things off next time, we'll turn in Jib's quest and get our reward. We'll go over to the Reaper's Lair and face the Reaper. Then we'll go back to Valerica and advance into the Boneyard. Until then, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed my videos, please consider clicking an ad, liking, sharing, or subscribing. Any or all of which will really help me out. Regardless, please know that I really do appreciate the time you spend watching, and hope you have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.